Hi Leo, and welcome to your May 2020 general reading. So I do hope this finds you well wherever you are in the world. So your additional guidance card is a regeneration card. So this is about new life. It's very much linked to the death card. So this is the opposite side of the death card. That is about regeneration, something coming back that maybe you thought had become hopeless. But it's a very beautiful card to have at the moment, because it's this new life that's bursting through into May, which is a really beautiful card. It's a little bit like the Rebirth card. So I'll throw you a spread and we'll find out where this sense of regeneration is happening. I really hope it's happening in all areas of your life, basically, but quite often shows up in one particular area more than another. But just taking a minute to shuffle. So, reading for Leo, please. Oh, Seven of Cups behind you with the Lover's card. A feeling about direction, choice, everything feeling blurry with the Seven of Cups. I think the Seven of Cups has a very significant purpose, because clarity comes, you know, it's like being in the fog and then suddenly the sun appears, suddenly the aces appear, suddenly regeneration appears. Seven of Cups with the Lover's card. So the Seven of Cups tends to be about choices, making decisions. The Lover's card is also a card, it used to be called Choices, because it's part of the Fool's journey, that we all hit a crossroads and some definite choice needs to be made. So this is either regarding a relationship or your life path in general. Let's find out. So what you want is the Queen of Swords, which is clarity. So that's what I mean. The clarity appears after the fog. The Gift is a Sun card. That's quite funny. Sorry, because that's what you want. You know, the tarot does represent the universal laws of nature. So it's like sea mist. I live right by the sea, so there's all this sea mist, and suddenly the sun breaks through, and what we see is this clarity, this beautiful clarity, and you've got two cards of clarity. The challenge is the King of Swords. I mean, Aries got both these two cards together. Very different positions though. Relationships, you get the Nine of Pentacles, which is the Hermit. So some of you aren't with loved ones at the moment, or you're taking time out. The Nine of Pentacles is like digestion. It's slowing everything down, coming back to the earth, and it's a very important process. I'll find out more in a minute. Money and work, you get the Ace of Wands. So this is obviously around this area is where the rejuvenation's coming from, because the Ace of Wands bursts out and the sun is crowning it. So very beautiful fire energy, and fire is the energy of creativity, your soul's purpose, your destiny. So very much all the fire signs form a perfect trinity, which tell the story of this sort of very dynamic soul's purpose. King of Wands at a soul level, looking at the Ace. But you know what I just realised? Both these kings sit. So in the tarot, they don't tend to act. The queens tend to be the more dynamic energy in the tarot, so it's a little bit different. Then you get the Nine of Wands, and then you get the Empress card. Very beautiful. Very beautiful indeed. So behind you is basically lack of clarity, either around a relationship or you and someone else is trying to find clarity about the way forward. I'm assuming this clarity is going to come with the Sun card, because that's what you want to happen. You want the gift to be breaking through the fog. And the Sun illuminates, the Sun brings clarity, and so does the Queen of Swords, because what you're looking for is clarity. And the Sun's going to come along and hopefully burn away all this fog. It happens in its own time. Everything happens in its own time. I think sometimes if we knew the lack of control we actually have, we'd be quite shocked. What we do have control over is our health, doing things that help to add to this clarity. The challenge is the King of Swords. So why is the King of Swords a challenge? I think this is about lack of movement. Give me a minute. Oh, it's with the Two of Cups. And because the Nine of Pentacles is here, I'm assuming some of you feel separate from someone that you love, a little bit cut off actually, because I find the King of Swords, I mean, the King of Swords when he's a challenge is like, so when you're a Leo, I always use, you know, Narnia as a really good example. So you're in, there's a feeling that something feels like it's in winter time. And by the looks of it, it might be your relationship dynamic. And so what a Leo really needs to do is be in the sun. But there's a little bit of part, and I can't help thinking it's around partnership and soulmate energy that feels it's a little bit icy. And really, really what needs to happen to that energy is the sun needs to come out to thaw whatever this relationship dynamic's about. I'm not particularly finding it a challenging one, because the Nine of Pentacles is the card of someone who absolutely loves their own company. It's alone and loving it card, basically. Now, I'm not saying that you're perfectly there, because missing someone that you love is part of the process, isn't it? I'm afraid. And I think it's obviously very clearly happening, but you have all this ground under your feet, which means you're focusing on the here and now, being in nature, walking, your health, because all the Earth Pentacles represent our health, our well-being. And that is the things that we do to mostly, to a huge percent, have control over. And the Nine of Pentacles is also the digestive system. So sometimes it's about taking a step back from the fray, allowing yourself to go in. We go in and then we go forward again. I guess something becomes a problem when we feel it's never going to end. That's when something becomes a problem. It's most things we can endure for a little while, but it's when we think that we're going to have to endure it forever that we fall into things like despair. You're not in any despair here with the Nine of Pentacles. One of my favourite cards, because it's someone who just enjoys their own beingness, which is the foundation of all healthy relationships. We go within, then we go without. Yeah, that sort of energy. Very beautiful. Now this Ace of Wands is underneath the Sun card. There's clarity coming and a new vision is coming. And it's particularly around your finances. Anything else going on here? Here you go. That's where your regeneration's happening. This works with Scorpio and the Death card. So I paired both of these cards together because it's like maybe a death, and this is the opposite side of the death. So some sort of a good coming your way, to tell you the truth. It could be something's coming back. So some of you might be going back to work after being in lockdown. Some of you might be receiving some support, which is going to give you clarity. and a vision about the future with that Ace of Wands. Something very, very exciting energy. It's almost like this energy of initiation, because it starts in Aries, it moves to Leo, and then accumulates in Sagittarius, and the three of them form this beautiful trine together, which helps us find our destiny, our sense of purpose. And you've got so much of it going on. I love it, because the King of Wands is at soul level, so he could be, and he's looking at this Ace of Wands underneath the Sun card, and there's this beautiful, powerful mix of energy happening for you. And I think what it seems to be bringing is the energy of rebirth, the energy of, because in this Judgment card there's three people, and they're rising out of a coffin. So, and they're giving thanks for everything that's been received. And there's a feeling of something is being received here, which is going to allow you to initiate a new life chapter. Okay? If some of you, if this isn't something like inheritance, it might be a new job, it might be the potential. In times of great chaos comes the potential for great innovation. And if there's anything the fire signs rule, it's the energy of innovation. I mean, you're obviously looking for this clarity to, but the clarity is coming with these swords, because fire and air work beautifully together. Now the outcome, let me go there first, is the Nine of Wands. So Nine of Wands is maybe having to defend your position a little bit, okay? So no card is either good or bad, depending on the story behind it. So why is the Nine of Wands? It's around love and the Empress. So this is a new chapter around love, around the home. Some of you might be having a new baby. But if not, the Empress is a soul quality. Yeah. So what the Empress does is she brings forward. So she brings forward a career. She brings forward a cake, a baby. It's all the same energy. And this is about this energy coming from your soul, and it's about wanting to birth this Ace of Cups again, which again is a brand new chapter. This might be around family, around home, around relationships, around beauty, and all of that thing. That is Taurus, by the way, but Taurus rules our essential needs, and our essential needs is the need to belong, the need for community, the need for a home, and the need for food, and the need for purpose. And you've got it all going on because fire rules that sense of purpose. Taurus and the Empress rules humanity's essential needs and what brings joy to the heart. And you might have to defend your position a little, but that's what I mean. There's no card good and bad, because if someone came up and said to you, "Oh, if you know that your joy is not going to be found in a certain place or a certain job or with a certain person, it's our divine right to say no." And it's a divine right within partnership to negotiate, to work in a way that fits the needs of both people. I think for a lot of you, this is a brand new cycle about to begin. It looks like it's very ordained, because the Ace of Cups is such a card of destiny. Sometimes it's quite a tough card, the Ace of Cups. And what makes it a tough card is it goes beyond logic. It's the sense of knowing about something's right for you, which is really connected with the heart. And the heart's intelligence is way greater than the mind. And maybe, Leo, you might have to fight for your opinion a little bit. Can I say a better word than fight for your opinion? guard what's essential to you. And what's essential to a Leo is the ability and the need to bring forward your solar energy. Wherever that falls in your birth chart really is that area where this energy wants to be brought forward. But to stand, to show it, and bring it into the world, depending on which house it falls. My Leo's in my partnership house. So my partnerships have to provide the sense of joy to me. And wherever this falls in your birth chart is where you need to bring this solar energy towards. Because of the Ace of Wands here in money and work, it might, because money and work, I mean, can include anything to do with the earth realm, where you live, how you live, who you live with. And I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about joy and what brings our heart joy. And if you need to be the Nine of Wands about defending your right for joy, Leo, then be the Nine of Wands defending your need for joy. Because there's no human being in the world, unless they're so traumatized that they live completely closed down, who does not crave the energy of these cards. Because I believe underneath all of it, we're all creatures of love. Yeah, that we all, within our capacity, want to bring good into this world. And a lot of people call me an idealistic, but I'm really not. And I really know people have been traumatized, but this is a desire to bring forth this quality of nurturement, of care into the world. A lot of it starts, or all starts, with self. And that's why I like the Nine of Pentacles in your relationship house, because it's when we have this core stability within our own self, connection with the earth, connecting with our health, because Virgo rules health. It's really from that place that we can enter into the world and not needing our cup to be filled by everyone else, but shining forth our light. So there's a little bit of, I mean, the King of Swords is a challenge. I mean, it's your opposite sign. Aquarius is showing up in both of these. Could be any of the air signs. But we all need to balance out our head and our heart. So you might be dealing with someone who's a little bit too heady. And because of that, you need to stand up for the heart, the home, love, what's important to you. What's the King of Wands doing at a soul position, please? Yeah, he's carrying the Ace of Pentacles. You got 3 aces, which is always about birthing. I mean, Leo, I know we're in a time of great suffering at the moment. I'm not, and it's funny because we've all got the spiritual task of in one hand holding that, and in the other hand being aware that something brand new wants to happen here. And a lot of people would say that it falls down to the 4 fixed signs. No no pressure on you, Leo, to bring forward a lot of the energy of leadership. I'm a fixed sign as well. So there's no surprise that all these aces are sprouting up. Because, you know, it's all those cliches, isn't it? Like, after a dark night of the soul comes this brand new life. And this seems to be what's coming through in your readings, is the potential for a brand new start. Now, if you're dealing with someone who's a bit King of Swords, essentially, we don't get them to put down their iciness by banging on them. we sort of need to allow the process to happen when they begin to soften and they begin to melt. Because there's not many human beings on earth that can stay rigid underneath these cards. And if these are the qualities that are coming through for you, then Leo, be in your heart. It's the most powerful. The heart has got the power to magnetize anything to it and everything. Now, I'm not talking about the energy of excess. The divine doesn't like that. But I'm talking about the energy of being nurtured, having good base, having good foundations, having a good home, a good support in order for you to bring forward this energy. And I think that's what this is about. Some of you might be having a baby. And if you don't want to get pregnant, then maybe be mindful. Because the Ace of Cups and the Empress, and the Ace of Wands, it's prime territory for pregnancy. But there's many ways to birth something, remember? And birthing a new life chapter, birthing a new career, birthing a new project is also a way to be in the Empress, to bring something forward into this world. And it's bringing something forward to the world that seems to provide this incredibly beautiful energy, Leo. And I have to say, God, some of the readings have been so complicated. I literally feel floored. But this was a really beautiful one to do. I really hope everyone watching gets all these aces in abundance and the regeneration of their lives. Okay? Much love, Leo. Bye.